Hey folks, today is Friday, May 6th, 2022. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, your video game uncle, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. We've got some cool stuff for you guys. Also, shout out to some of you guys, like a week or so, I asked for barber recommendations to fix my damn head. Thank you. I am pleased to now officially announce that I'm not cutting it, baby! I'm keeping it! The first bit of news, something interesting, a little bit out of left field. We finally know what type of game Neil Blomkamp is making. Of course, we've known that he has teamed up with a game studio. He's been looking around for years. This is Neil Blomkamp, of course, the director behind stuff like District 9 and Elysium, and that's it.
Did he do Chappie?
He did do Chappie. Chappie was actually kind of cool. Jokes aside, fan of his work, definitely a gamer, so people were pretty interested to see what type of video game he would get involved with, and him and Gunzilla Studios has announced this new game called Off the Grid, and it has this cool cyberpunk aesthetic. The trailer teases cool robots, cities, and a kind of grimy future. We're definitely into that cyberpunk vibe. We've talked about it before. It goes well beyond just one CD Projekt Red game. It is a whole sci-fi genre in and of itself, and this is actually going to be a third-person game, which is exciting for me. I love third-person shooters. They also talked about like world building and how this world is going to evolve, and just some of the creative aspects behind it. But the big thing is that actually this is just a battle royale, which it's not really what I was hoping for. I am very much over those. I'm sure some of you guys probably are too. At this point, I think it's like, if you have one, you got one for yourself. You're a Fortnite person, you're an Apex Legends person, you're an insert whatever person, or a none of them person. Very curious to see what Neil Blomkamp and company can do with this one. We're just gonna have to wait and see. This is slated for PS5 and Xbox and PC sometime next year. But the biggest news, the news that I was the most excited to talk about this week, happened earlier in the week on Monday. An official announcement of another acquisition, a sale, a deal going down. This is between Embracer Group, a company that owns a lot of game developers and publishers, and Square Enix, selling off seemingly just a lot of their Western properties. 3 studios to be exact. Legendary ones: Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal. Wow. The biggest thing though, for $300 million, which again, like millions of dollars is hard to comprehend, but just looking at and studying other acquisitions, even outside of gaming, $300 million is not a lot for what they have here, including heavyweight properties like Tomb Raider. Square Enix has been struggling with some Western properties. As you probably remember, like it was like every game they put out, like a high quality Deus Ex or a new Tomb Raider that people really loved and people really bought, they still end up just performing, according to them, under expectations or below expectations. So to me, at this point, it almost seems like the Japanese publisher was just finally looking to offload a bunch of their stuff that they couldn't quite crack. There are new reports also suggesting that between the whole Marvel thing with Guardians of the Galaxy and their Marvel Avengers game, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars on those, which is a damn shame because that Guardians of the Galaxy game, super tight. I love that. Tight. Oh my god. I see Square just being like, here, take it. We're tired of making this stuff. They probably inflated budgets, not meeting expectations. Maybe Embracer Group can take these developers and these brands and make cool stuff out of it. Maybe now Square can go back to what they've been talking about recently, which is like putting NFTs in games and just hang out and, you know, keep cashing those Final Fantasy XIV checks. It is worth pointing out though the amount of cool things, like if like Embracer Group, if they're willing to like really put the things to the fire as soon as they get them, there is so much potential. Like I said, like we already know there's a new Tomb Raider game in the works, Deus Ex, but the thing that everybody's talking about, and your boy is definitely as well, what? Why are you walking towards me? You know what I'm gonna say. Legacy of Kain?
Yeah.
It's time. Bring it back. The world has been waiting for a return. I know, Soul Reaver, everybody, Raziel is great, but bring back our boy Kain. Bring back Blood Omen. Blood Omen 3. Blood Omen 3. Now, of course, keep in mind, this stuff takes a while to go down. We always talk about that, so don't expect anything immediately anytime soon. Embracer Group has been buying a lot of things, but, you know, hasn't immediately fired things off yet, so that's where that's at. Also, they have said that in terms of things like licensing for things like probably Disney Marvel properties, those are going to be kind of separately negotiated and they have to deal with the license holder still. Next up, a story that's been making headlines and getting people talking that actually was started by some good analysis by a good old classic YouTuber. Love to shout him out. Joe Raptor has pointed out that Ubisoft might be done with Watch Dogs as a franchise. I have my own take on it, and I'll get to that in a bit, but this video, which, you know, we link all of our news stories and stuff down in the description below, points out a lot of high-profile people leaving certain divisions to go specifically work on different Ubisoft projects. Couple that with a couple of other little things here and there, including the fact that Watch Dogs Legion did not really perform up to their expectations, is leading to people thinking, and the rumor mill swelling, that, like, you know, Watch Dogs is definitely going to be on ice. Now, that's what I want to definitely double down on, is that I think it's definitely going to be put on ice. I don't think Watch Dogs is dead necessarily. I'm also biased because I really like Watch Dogs 1 and 2. Like a lot. I like the first Watch Dogs. Everybody made fun of me, but I think it was cool. It had Wu-Tang in it. I also think that Ubisoft is kind of weird and unpredictable. As much as some of their games may be very formulaic, they do stick with things for such a long time. Like the fact that, like we talked about last week, Skull and Bones is still coming out. Also, not to mention the fact that Watch Dogs is just like an open world game brand, and you know Ubisoft loves their open world, so I think it's a matter of them just kind of maybe eventually coming back to it, going back to the drawing board and figuring out a good new spin on it. They tried with Legion. I wasn't super into it, and then of course, like the suggesting here is that, like, you know, the creative leads like Hayden Blackman have went on to work on like Assassin's Creed and stuff. I see it being like a cyclical thing, maybe like how Watch Dogs has kind of been, but maybe more spread out. Maybe it'll be a while. I thought this was an interesting conversation though, so I want to hear what you guys think in the comments just about Watch Dogs, what you would want from another one, which one of those games actually appealed to you the most. Let's talk about this stuff. Hey, next up, big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of online classes, people from around the world in hundreds of countries. Use Skillshare for inspiration, to straight up learn new skills and find good ways to use them. From creative to business to just cool hobbies, Skillshare has a boatload of things to learn. You can start from square one, really. You can learn for serious stuff, or you can learn for fun. Now, for me personally, I use Skillshare kind of as like a refining for skills that I already have, right? Okay, so examples, I finally switched over from editing on Adobe Premiere to Final Cut Pro because I needed something simpler and faster, and old editing habits die hard. It's hard to learn a new editing program. So courses like Ali Abdal's helps, especially if you're looking to refine your skills or even just get started and get into YouTube. It's ad-free, a bunch of languages are supported, and new premium classes are added every week, with even some relaxing and different stuff you wouldn't expect, like self-care classes. So the first 1,000 people to go and click the link in our description or use our code GameRanx will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So go check it out, go have fun, and thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring our video. Oh, and also I forgot, there was an update on the Prince of Persia remake game again. It is delayed indefinitely, and now Ubisoft is giving it to Ubisoft Montreal, a certain division, to work on it, which means it's probably going to be a while before we see that. I still don't think we need a Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. I think that game is perfect. That's just me. But yeah. Next up, a pretty significant delay. The Day Before, a game we've talked about a lot on this channel, especially when it was first revealed. It's kind of like that mix between the Division, city, looting, PvE, PvP, with like a bunch of like The Last of Us and MMO elements, like mashed up into this cool looking thing with crazy graphics. Seemed too good to be true, and I'm still kind of thinking that kind of here. So essentially it was supposed to drop pretty soon. It's technically one of the most wish-listed games on Steam, and now it has been delayed to 2023, and they have announced that it is switching to Unreal Engine 5. So finishing up this seemingly ambitious game that we haven't actually seen too much of, and switching to a completely different engine. Is 2023 realistic or not? I don't know. I don't make games, but we're just gonna have to keep an eye on this one. If anything, at the very least, and at least they're not like, you know, saying a bunch of stuff every day. Like they're not over-promising and under-delivering. We're just gonna have to wait and see how that goes. They're probably gonna go dark for a while and keep working on the game, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. And along with that, on the flip side, because I feel like we talk about a delay every single week, these last like 2 years have been brutal. It seems like Final Fantasy 16 is well on track. That game was revealed, kind of went dark and disappeared for a while. We knew we were going to get an update in spring, and now they have said that development is still very much well on track. Love to hear it. Love Final Fantasy. Would love to play it this year, but we'll see. Now we got some cool things linked in the description below if you're looking for fun stuff to check out. The first thing, highly recommend. NoClip and Danny O'Dwyer have once again done it Love those lads. This here is a bunch of gameplay from Arkane's canceled Half-Life game, Ravenholm. Oh my god. That's all I have to say about that. You should just go check it out for yourself. We also got a new trailer for Thymesia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's kind of like an action combat, gothic horror, cool style game. We've talked about it on a couple of our top 10s. I'm about it. It finally now officially has a release date. It's coming August 9th, 2022.
So the one that looks like Bloodborne?
Yeah, Bloodborne where you have a Plague Doctor mask.
Yeah.
Any game where I can have a Plague Doctor mask,
Sold.
Game of the year. Also this week, Trek to Yomi released. This is that 2.5D Kurosawa-inspired, like classical Japanese game. I reviewed it on gameranx and on my channel. The before you buy, I will link in the description down below. It's okay. It's a little complicated, but if you like those types of games like I do, you might still want to give it somewhat of a fair shake. Also linked is a little bit of an update on Hitman 3. The content roadmap has shifted a little bit. Their very cool, very ambitious sounding freelancer mode is getting pushed a little bit, but we are going to get that new map soon. Got a little bit more of a look and a little bit more info behind that, so that will be linked. And last but certainly not least is this beautiful art. I think it was Eurogamer who first pointed this out and linked this, shout out to them, but this artist is making incredible video game art based around old comic book covers, and artists have kind of done this before, but this dude is knocking it out of the park. This is Mark Scicluna. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He is a working video game artist, and the stuff he puts on his portfolio, which we linked in the description down below, is so sick. It's just inspired by all different eras of comic book and old classic book art, stuff for Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing, Resident Evil, The Last of Us, Dino Crisis, God of War, Metal Gear Solid. I love it. Every single thing that he has done, we were like gushing over. So definitely go check that out. We wanted to give him some love because this stuff is awesome. Next up in news, we wanted to revisit a little bit of a bummer thing, and that is the whole chip shortage thing. The global supply chain issues and the chip shortages that has now lasted for quite some time, leading, a lot of people having a hard time getting access to new consoles, graphics cards, price problems, availability issues. There's still some new talk that it might be continuing. The first thing is Nintendo themselves are apparently planning to sell 10% less Nintendo Switches for the time being, which is actually pretty significant coupled with previous years if you follow the math for the article I linked. And along with that, I don't know if you guys saw this in like mainstream news, Intel's CEO did say that he expects this type of stuff, these shortages, these issues, these supply chain issues to continue until 2024, which is wild. Why did I whisper that? I don't know. Sorry. So as someone who talks about games, I just wonder what that's going to mean for gaming, because we are talking more and more a little bit about certain games being next-gen only exclusives and finally pivoting from doing say PS4 and PS5 to just PS5. That next-gen game exclusivity might not completely ramp up as fast as we were hoping, or at least some of us were hoping, for technological advancements or anything like that, just because so many people are still playing on previous gens because of availability issues and just cost and pricing and economic issues. So let's see where this goes, man. But hey, not all bummers. One last cool story, something I'm pretty into, is that there are some changes going on behind the scenes at 2K. The leader behind Hangar 13, the more recent Mafia developers, have left the company, but interestingly enough, this report also suggests that they are in the early stages of working on a new Mafia game that actually is apparently going to serve as a prequel to the original Mafia, and it's going to be developed in Unreal Engine 5. So that's interesting. I'm just personally very much into those games, so another cool open world action Mafia thing to look forward to in the future. I'll take it. That is, of course, right now still a rumor, but I will link the whole report down in the description below. But really, that's it this week. So we gotta go. We gotta go back to playing some games and watching Doctor Strange and all that good stuff. So let me know in the comments what you think about everything, specifically the chip shortage stuff. Have you gotten your hands on everything you've wanted? Did you need a new graphics card? Do you want an Xbox? Whatever. How's it been for you? Also, of that awesome comic book art that we've linked, which is your favorite? It's pretty hard for me to decide. I really like the Resident Evil 4 one, but the Last of Us one is pretty sweet too. I don't know. And are you ready for one last battle royale if it's being creatively developed by Neil Blomkamp, the District 9 guy? And what do you think about that Square Enix property sale? $300 million. That's not a lot for something like that. I feel like Tomb Raider alone can recoup that if they at least do it right. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know anything. I'm not a business guy. Let's talk about any of this new stuff down in the comments below. We definitely want to hear from you. Also, that pinned comment, like we always do, make sure to drop what game you're currently playing for our research purposes. But Let's talk about stuff. We'll be down in the comments as much as possible. Things get a little crazy though, a little chaotic. So if you want to yell at me directly, of course, you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram and my other YouTube channel, all just Jake Baldino. Just look that up. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for coming around every Friday. We are always here for you guys to get you caught up. If you like this, clicking the like button is all you got to do. It helps us, legitimately. Thank you. But that's it. I'm Jake Baldino. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.